What is happening, boys and girls? Jim here, you know the channel. Today is Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. And my apologies to my channel subscribers for not getting a video out as of late. Been doing a lot of work around here at the house. Some catch-up work, trying to get ready for next winter. Splitting wood is one of the things that we've been doing, as well as installing new garage door openers in the new pole barn out there, and doing some work out here on the adventure course. I started working on the adventure course a couple days before Memorial Weekend, and I fully intended on doing a video on Memorial Weekend out here, but things just got a little bit out of hand. We hadn't worked on this course in at least 2 years. So, I mean, it was in bad shape. A lot of weeds growing out on the course, a lot of repair work that needed to be done. And I mean, it took a day and a half just to pull the weeds on the course before we even got started on working on the course. And for the people who know about the course and know the layout on this thing, I started way up there by Old Stump and started working my way around the course clockwise from there. And I've got about a third of it done and still need to do about 2/3 more. And I think I'm going to end up doing a video out here with the Ascender Bronco that I recently pimped out before we go any further with construction out here on the adventure course. So regardless, I want to talk about our 5,000 subscriber giveaway and our 5,000 subscriber giveaway vehicle. Now, I've had that vehicle sitting here for a good 2 months now, and I've seriously been on the fence about doing the giveaway, period, just because the response that I've gotten on my pre-giveaway video isn't so good. The video is like an hour and 3 minutes long, and I think the average view duration is right around 9 minutes. So, I mean, that's extremely disrespectful, especially for someone who's trying to give you guys and gals, or at least one of you guys and gals out there, a brand new $500 and some odd RTR scale crawler, 1/10 scale. So the numbers on that video, once again, aren't looking so good. Average view duration is 9 minutes. Video is an hour long. It's absolutely key to watch that video from beginning to end and not fast forward and just, watch little bits and fast forward and watch little bits until you see all the little key bits of information for getting into the giveaway. I wanted to express all my thoughts and feelings on the giveaway, everything that I've been going through trying to make this giveaway happen. And just the level of disrespect from only watching 9 minutes of that video makes me not want to do a giveaway at all, period. It's a brand new vehicle that I'm giving away. I don't own that type of vehicle. That type of vehicle has never been seen out here on the adventure course. So really, I'd love to keep that truck for myself. And I think the only reason that I'm going to go through with the giveaway is just because I said that I would. And it's going to be the very last giveaway that we do on the channel, just because that stuff isn't working out so good. The giveaways aren't working out good. Every giveaway up to this point in time has come out of my personal pocket. Same with this one. Money for the vehicle is coming out of my own personal pocket, or came out of my personal pocket. So yeah, I'm trying to give one lucky person a free RC car, and you guys aren't even giving me enough respect of watching the entire video. I mean, come on, really? Why should I give you guys a car if you're not going to watch the entire video, man? It's ridiculous. All right, so working on the adventure course once again. I started up by Old Stump, started working my way around clockwise. Did a lot of work, construction work to the track here and there, some new construction work, some of the stuff we're looking at right over here. And I want to walk through the course right now and show you what we've done and what we haven't done, and talk about that giveaway a little bit more. All right, so working our way into the podium area. Not much new here. We just tidied up the parking lot, tidied up the podium, added a little median right here that needs to get top dressed. Coming into the first hill, we added a border coming around, going over to the over-under rock bridge, or log bridge frog pond area. That was getting pretty rough, so we added a rock border across there. Entranceway coming off the podium there, extremely eroded, so I decided to plant some rocks in there on the face. These guys are all nice and smooth, so really no traction on these guys. These guys look like they could get pulled out of the ground, but nope, no chance in hell of pulling those guys out. Those rocks are extremely long. They go back to about here on either side, and I hammered them in place using this rock right here. Bang, 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 and hammered them in place. All these rocks are basically hammered in place and countersunk into the ground, so there's not a chance in hell that you're going to be able to peel one of these out with your tire as you're climbing up. Looking at our first initial hill on the way in. All right, so we haven't changed much here other than pulling out that center block that was sitting right here. That center block's been sitting in there since day one, and I just couldn't stand it, man. It didn't belong on the course. It's been killing me since day one, so we stripped all that crap off the face of the hill and countersunk some rocks periodically on the face of the hill. So we've got a nice chunk of rose quartz right here. Good traction on that guy. Another rock right here. No traction on that. No traction on this. No traction on that. A little bit of traction on this one with the ledge. And then this rose quartz rock right here had a piece that fractured off of it. and that got planted right there. So we've added some rocks into the face of this hill just to make that a little bit more challenging. All right, so we're just going to walk around the course here. Frog pond area, leaking like a sieve. It doesn't hold water anymore. And our over-under bridge here on the other side is just caving in. The walls are caving in at a ridiculous rate. Every day it's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. I'm not even sure if I can get the TRX4 Bronco through there at this point in time because this is looking pretty darn tight. So this whole area needs to get rebuilt at some point in time. Probably start right about here, rip all this out, and rebuild it with some other rocks. Probably using the rocks from the other side of the over-under rock bridge or log bridge over there. Camera's jumping around. Use the rocks from the over-under that are underneath the over-under log bridge and move them over here and reestablish them as a over-under rock bridge on this side instead of a log bridge. This whole section, once again, I've been talking about this for the last couple of years. This whole section right here needs to get ripped out. All the way down, those two metal wheels, and then running along up to this point right here between the trees. Some of the stuff just doesn't belong. Those metal wheels don't belong on the course. They shouldn't go on the course. They don't look scale by any means. Some of those bricks don't belong on the course. They don't look scale by any means. So all that stuff's got to come out of there. That little log jumble there is okay. It just needs to get relocated. We're kind of getting a little bit of a cluster bleep down here with all these different intersections. We've got an intersection running this way, another intersection running that way, and another intersection going this way. So this intersection right here needs to be completely ripped out. And I've been saying that for a few years, but it'll be happening this year. So we need to rip out this entire section leading up to that tree right there. Take out all these rocks. Those are countersunk into the ground. We need to rip those all out and elevate that whole section, and then just kind of zigzag it up and connect it back up to that area there with the frog pond. So we need to tear down the frog pond, tear down that bridge, build a new frog pond, a larger one, and build a rock bridge right there with an over-under tunnel on that. So all that stuff needs to come out. Haven't really touched anything on this portion of the course. I think this little rocky laneway is okay. That one's okay. Brick bridge is okay. Our little rocky switchback needs to be worked on, but it's not going to happen this year. Each one of these little sticks on the border of that switchback have been driven into the ground. Each one of those is about 18 inches long, and I use a 3-pound sledgehammer to drive them into the ground. So when it comes to working on this, I'm going to have to rebuild this entire section. I have to rip out everything and just totally rebuild this entire corner, and that's going to be time consuming. Gathering the sticks, hammering them into the ground, and rerouting all this stuff, as well as, ripping the other stuff out. Over under log bridge. Pretty fragile at this point in time. I definitely wouldn't walk across it, but it should be good to drive on for another couple years. All of our other rock features are pretty solid. As far as the rock features go, I've got a lot of rock features that are just straight rock, like the Rubicon Trail. And I'm trying to steer away from that this year. All the new features that I'm adding this year are going to be more spaced out, where you just have a rock and dirt and rock and dirt and rock and dirt, and just kind of gap it out to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit different challenge going on versus having straight rock. All right, walking around this half of the course, everything is pretty much good back here. Don't really need to mess around with anything back here. This will be good for this year, that is for sure. Our little storm damage area is okay. Our bypass trail is okay. Our tombstone section is okay. Everything back here is pretty much okay. So don't need to mess with anything back here as of yet. Please excuse the sun and shade and all that other good nonsense. Now all these rocks right here, what we see laying on the ground, and all this stuff from like right here over, including our big rock topper right there, all that stuff is what needs to get relocated over to the frog pond, and we'll use that to build the new bridge over on that side. So all these rocks is what I'm going to be using for reestablishing that as an over-under rock bridge instead of a log bridge. Once again, this guy is getting pretty darn fragile. And we'll just duck on through here. Low bridge. All right, coming up to the top of the rocky switchback and moving our way along. This stuff's okay. Teeter-totter's in great shape. That's working out great. This little section along here, coming out from our over-under rock or log bridge and working our way up. Now this rock is a nice fun one to climb on, but it was just a little bit too tight with the 1/10 scale trucks. So I added a few other rocks around the outside edge just to give us a little bit more room as we're negotiating around the corner. So this row of rocks right here is all new. All this stuff along here are all new rocks. So that was a new add-on, new feature. All right, this little corner right here was our dugout corner. First video that I did this year with my K10 Ascender. That was about 2.5 to 3 feet deep on that area. getting seriously eroded. Needed to build a boulder retention wall in there to keep that hill at bay. That's the problem with building a course on the face of a hill, is that you have to deal with a lot of erosion, and that was getting pretty bad right there. Moral of the story was I was going to have to build a 3-tier rock wall leading up to cover up, or to bolster up that hill a little bit. And I didn't want to burn up all my rocks just making a rock wall to hold that hill up, so I decided just to fill the damn thing with dirt. Excuse my language. So got a couple buckets of topsoil, 3 buckets of topsoil with the tractor, and brought it in here across the course, and boom, boom, problem solved. Now I still need to build a retaining wall up along that upper edge, but only a 1-tier wall, so just 1 layer of rock, probably about basketball-sized rocks, just 1 layer across the top there, right where those lights are, just to keep that hill at bay. So that's all that we've done right there. Brought the tractor in on the course for that. Had to drive it in right through here. Only spot that I can get that tractor in on the course. Only reason I use the tractor, well, a couple of reasons I use the tractor. Can't really get a wheelbarrow back in here other than taking that same path, just because everything is so congested on the course that there's really not a good route to bring a wheelbarrow in. Our dirt pile that we got the topsoil from is way down here, way down there. By those evergreens down there is where the dirt pile is. So that would have been a long uphill push with the wheelbarrow to get it into here. So I used a John Deere tractor and brought it up through the woods and came down right across this point on the course, which is the only spot I can bring it in on. Brought it right over to here, and bang, 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 hole is filled. All right, our storm damage area down here, this is getting pretty trashed. It's been sitting here for a few years now and needs to get rebuilt. Probably start at that tree root right there, and then wrap it back around all the way up to that green section and call it good. This section back here needs to get rebuilt, especially after driving the tractor through. Kind of collapsed that bank down when I drove the tractor through, so need to kind of recut that bank, maybe put some rocks along the edge as a border, and that'll be good there. And then just a matter of building some hills or steps or whatever obstacles in here as we go up towards Old Stump. Whoo, running out of breath. Over under rock bridge, log bridge, that stuff is rock solid, ain't going anywhere, and it's still good, so didn't mess with anything over there. Starting point, after pulling the weeds, I started right up here at Old Stump. And I started by taking a garden hoe in and just cleaned out in between all these roots, kind of dug out those roots a little bit to gap them out and accentuate them a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting for driving the trucks through. Still need to finish the border around the outside edge. My niece's log cabin, which looks like a frontier jail cell, is still standing. Amazingly, it's the only cabin of sorts that's still standing here on the course. And it looks like an 1800s frontier-style jail cell. It looks like it was built in the 1800s, the way it's falling apart there. But yeah, it's still standing. Nevertheless, we need to build a little border along here. The approach on our sand hill. All right, so I did some work on here talking about planting rocks in the hill face. I planted some random rocks on this hill face periodically up the hill. So they're gapped out between a foot and 15 to 18 inches apart. So there's sand and rock and sand and rock. There's a little rocky alcove up here that you can get stuck in. Some high traction rocks on the outside of that alcove that'll sucker you into that little pocket. But once you get into that pocket, you might not be able to get back out. The sand is extremely deep in there. And I've got some little rock spires that are pounded into the ground. That one over there on the left-hand side is razor sharp on the one edge of it. Excuse the shaky camera. It's razor sharp on the left edge, so it might cut your tire on the way up. So planting rocks into the face of this hill is all new. Some are traction rocks, some are completely slick. Some are made of quartz, and just some are just regular hard rock like bluestone. One of these rocks actually has a dinosaur footprint in it. This one right here. You can see the pad from the bottom of a foot. Toe print here, toe print there, possibly a toe print there, not too sure. But that is definitely a dinosaur footprint of some sort on that rock, which is pretty darn cool. So this is all new up here, this new little feature. And this little guy is the one that is razor sharp and could possibly slice a tire on the way up. Yay! More challenges, you know? Run at your own risk. If you trash a tire, that's your fault, not mine. All right, our bypass trail. In case you can't make it up the sandy hill, we had our little bypass going off to the side with these tree roots. Now, this one portion right here was getting pretty gnarly, about 5 to 6 inches deep by this tree root, totally inverted on this tree root. Every time we came up here, well, not every time, but a lot of the times the trucks were coming up and just flipping over backwards. So it was getting pretty bad, pretty dug out. So I took a piece of quartz, big piece of quartz, hammered it in between the tree roots, locked it in place. It's not going anywhere. Great traction on that rock. Another rock right here, big piece of flat stone here. I want to say it's like flagstone, and I hammered that in between the roots as well, so that's completely slick, no traction on that guy, but it filled the hole and it makes it a little bit more interesting. Added a piece of quartz on top of that, hammered it in between the tree roots, so it's not going anywhere. A couple more rocks over here on the side that are hammered in as well. They're not going anywhere, but just some more traction aids on the way up if you take the bypass trail. All right, the sand hill itself. I took our big chunk of quartz that was sitting right here horizontally. It's been sitting there for a few years. Had a video where I pulled that thing out of the ground with our Alice Chalmers tractor and drug it over here, and that is it right there. I planted that in the hill last weekend on Saturday. Did that one by myself. I brought the John Deere tractor up here, dug a hole on the other side of the trench, or on the other side of the rock, a 6-inch trench. Took that rock and tilted it up into that hole so it was standing upright like a tombstone. Wrapped a tie-down strap around it, hooked a chain to it, ratcheted it down, lifted the rock up like a pendulum, and then brought it in here with a tractor. Pre-dug this hole out, measured it out, dug it down 8 inches, set the rock in, laid it back, and then used these logs on the side as levers to pry it around and get it in position where it needed to be. Did that one by myself once again, so that was a pretty tough little thing to plant. I'm a landscaper. I've been building rock walls and things like that for years. But planting a rock like that by yourself can be pretty tough. That baby weighs an easy 450 to 500 pounds. It's a good 15 inches thick and almost 3 feet long. So planted that guy in the face of the hill just as a little traction aid on the way up, and adds to the challenge going up the hill. Not very steep, but it does have a little bit of an angle on it. There's about a 3-foot sand run from the bottom of the hill before you get to the rock. You can take the trail on the left, you can take the trail on the right, you can go right up the middle if you want to, if you can make it to it. But if you can't make it up that hill, I made a bypass trail, or finished a bypass trail going around it. Bypass trail, I made this so it's SCX24 compatible. So our original rocks are that big guy right there, this one right here, this one right here, and most of this stuff is original. And then I widened it up on that side for the 1/10 scale vehicles, and then widen it up down here in the bottom for the 1/10 scale vehicles, as well as the SCX24s. Once again, all these rocks are pretty large. They're all countersunk into the ground. Big flat one right here. Smooth rock makes the SCX24, will give the SCX24s a nice entrance into here. I'll pretty much guarantee that the SCX24s can't make it up that guy, so this will be the route that they have to take. It is SCX24 compatible. It's not a very steep climb on the way back out. But I made sure to plant these rocks in at a bunch of different various angles to show off the suspension articulation on the 1/10 scale vehicles, and also give the 1/24 scale vehicles a little bit more of a challenge as you try to route your way through. So all this stuff is new through here. This is all old up here. This is the original run right here, coming up this side and going around. So this is original rock, original, and original. And then all this stuff around the edge is all stuff that I added to widen it up for the 1/10 scale vehicles. So this one's new, that's new, that's new, this is new, that's new, so on and so forth, all the way around. Once again, not very steep on the way up. Once again, it's supposed to be a bypass trail, but I did plant the rocks in at various angles just to show off that suspension articulation. And once again, to challenge the SCX24s as you're making your way through here, plotting your route through the rocks and through these gaps and trying to make your way around. Now the original trail coming up through here went right up through here, and this was basically the outside edge of the course. So this part of the rock wasn't being used, and that was a shame, because that is a beautiful looking rock. So I rerouted that course once again out around the outside edge. I took a bunch of shadows in the way. I took a bunch of flat chunks of rock that had broken off of other pieces of rock, just basically rock platelets that were about 1 inch thick, and then planted them in here in between all these other rocks, and then filled this with sand. So we've got a bunch of sand in here, but it's solid rock underneath. And it's all pretty slick, so there's no traction on that stuff. I also planted in a couple other little rocks as obstacles on the way through. So when you're making your approach to that rock face, you're going to hit the sand, probably spin your tires on the sand, and then hit that rock and spin your tires on that rock, which is going to make it a little bit more challenging. Once again, wanted to make use of the face of that hill, or the face of that rock, so we could climb back up it on the way back through. Once again, most of the time we're going to be going this way on the bypassing that hill, going around this way, but also try to make it interesting if you're trying to make your way back around the other way. Initially, this is supposed to be an exit leading out into the woods for a more natural course that would like break off from this course and then eventually reconnect up here at the bottom. Never got around to doing that. You know, time is of the essence, and just didn't have enough time to get to that as of yet. We might get to it in the future, but just haven't gotten to it as of yet. So in the meantime, I just reconnected all this stuff so we can make this as a usable bypass to bypass that sand hill. So all this stuff through here is all new. And it took a couple days to do all this stuff. It took a day to plant all this stuff along the side. I know, it seems like a long time, right? You shouldn't take a day to do all this stuff. But the root mass up here is pretty darn thick. Anywhere between 3 to 8 inches thick for the roots. The root mass is buried below the ground. And we like to recycle all our dirt up here so we don't have to spend money on dirt. So whenever we do any digging, we have to separate that root mass, bang the roots out on a rock, and separate the sand from the rest of the roots, throw the root mass off to the side, and then screen the sand through a window screen essentially into another bucket, and then take our sand and replant it back onto the course. And that stuff takes time to filter through all the sand. Looking at a rock pile, it is seriously depleting all throughout here. We only have a few large rocks left over. Other pieces are just like cobblestone throughout here. Whole screening process, yeah. Let's kick it key on our flash. This is a bucket of root mass. That's just some of the stuff that we go through. Another bucket right there that is empty. Another bucket of screened sand right here. It's all nice and clean. No rocks in it whatsoever. Using a window screen like this over top of the bucket to filter all the crap out of that dirt after we shake it out of the roots. So it's time consuming to reclaim that sand to use back on the course. So once again, this area right here took a day just to do that. It took almost half a day just to plant that rock in right there, that big one, because I had to figure out how to do that one by myself. The rocks on the backside over there, it took another day to do that stuff. Very time consuming. Nothing new in this area right here. I need to clean it up, rake this stuff up, reshape everything. I had to fill this little valley in with some sand before I brought that rock in. Otherwise, I would have tipped the tractor over when I had that rock hanging from the bucket. So I had to fill this whole trench up with sand. Still need to come through here and clean it all up and repair that area. This area, nothing's changed. On the other side, we've added, well, didn't really add, but just kind of raked up the dirt. Made a couple supercross style jumps on that side, or hills to climb over. On our approach to the over-under rock bridge down here, I scraped all the dirt from this hill back towards the rock bridge with the intention of planting some more rocks on the surface of this hill and then bringing all that dirt back forward. I just haven't gotten around to doing that as of yet. That's kind of where I left off at. So I took all the dirt from the hill, scraped it on down to here, filtered out all the tree roots and all that other crap, left that stuff there. Need to plant some rocks in right here and then drag all that dirt back over top of them and cover that stuff up. Root mass that I'm talking about is this stuff right here. That's about 7 inches of roots right there. So that's the stuff that we have to filter through. It's not like doing a landscape job where you just go in and dig all that crap out, throw it in a tractor bucket, put it in a truck and haul it off site somewhere and dump it and bring in new material. We're trying to recycle all that material. So we have to filter through those tree roots, knock all that sand out of them, screen that sand and reuse it somewhere else. Once again, extremely time consuming. So that's where we left off right here. All this stuff right here, rock solid once again, don't have to touch nothing through here. Coming back around this way. All right, so some more rocks that I added are a couple rocks around the base of this tree. The tree looks like it grew out, or it looks like it grew on top of a tree stump, which was leaning, had an extreme lean on it, and I didn't like the way it was leaning. So I added some rocks in here on the base of the tree just to kind of bolster that tree up. Not a climbable feature, just something that I had to do. So time consuming, just something that I had to do to kind of brace that tree up a little bit. This area through here needs to get reworked and kind of dug up and trimmed out. This next hill right here, I apologize for the sun and shade. We raked all the dirt down that was on the surface of the hill. It's just nothing but tree roots right now. We need to filter through all that crap build this up a little bit higher, plant some rocks in randomly on the way up this hill, and then trim it out with some cobblestone around the edges as a border. So I haven't finished on this part. Once again, over on the rock bridge, log bridge area, still rock solid. Don't need to do anything with that. All right, this backside right here, this is all brand new, this whole rock wall right there. We got some serious erosion going on with this hillside. Once again, building your track or building your adventure course on the side of a hill, after a few years, erosion really starts to add up. So unfortunately had to burn up a bunch of rocks in this area just to make a boulder wall, essentially a retaining wall, to keep all that stuff at bay and to hold that hill in place. So all that stuff is basically just a retaining wall. But we do have the ability to use it as a climbing obstacle somewhere down the line in the future. We might include that into part of the course. But a lot of large rocks in this area. Big ones. This guy right here, solid bluestone, man. This guy is dense, super dense. And it is big. It goes back into the hill quite a ways. Another piece of ledge rock up on top of that, and yada, yada, yada. But it took a good day. It took 3 days, actually, to do this whole area. About a day and a half to work on that. Another day and a half to work on this stuff by myself. Once again, doing this stuff by myself. At least some of this stuff over here. So another new feature, adding rocks to the surface of this sand hill right here. Sand hills, man, we got a lot of sand up here. So climbing up sand hills gets pretty darn tedious. So once again, trying to change things up, instead of running solid rock, planting rocks in various different places on the hill just to make things a little bit more interesting. So I've got a big chunk of quartz sitting right here on the way up. Good traction on that guy. A crescent-shaped rock right here, like a crescent moon-shaped rock. Awesome approach, awesome face on that for a hill climb or approach. Big rock spire hammered into the ground right here. All these rocks are countersunk into the ground or hammered into the ground. That way there's no chance that you can peel them out with your vehicle. Another chunk of quartz right there, chunk of quartz right there. Smooth rock, smooth rock, smooth rock. Quartz, quartz, smooth rock, quartz, smooth. Smooth, quartz, smooth, smooth. So, combination of traction and no traction on the way up the hill. Another chunk of bluestone right there, completely slick. No traction on that guy. Planted a bunch of rocks across the top of this hill and down the side just to keep that sand retained. The main course is right up the middle. The ones on the outer edge aren't necessarily meant to be climbed on, but you can climb on them as long as you don't exceed the rocks and go off the course. This guy right here is about the size of a medicine ball, a good 200 pounds easily. And then these two little rocky spires that you see sticking off the top are equally as large as this one right here. And they're just buried into the hill face. But they are big rocks buried into the hill face, and meant as a little bit of an obstacle, something that might snag you up or give you traction on the way up the hill. Added some more rocks along the side as borders just to keep that sand retained. And then added a couple on the right-hand side of our log crossing right here, just to give you something to hit in case you start sliding off those logs. You can hit those rocks before you roll your vehicle. Coming back and looking at our log crossing. All right, so we're looking at it completely level right now. My camera is totally level, so that is the angle on our hill there, or on that log. It doesn't look like much, but that is deceivingly difficult. I can make it up pretty easy with my vehicles just because I know the right route for getting up it, but a lot of newcomers have a difficult time on that area and tend to roll their vehicles off. They get onto those little logs there and start skipping off, and next thing you know, they're rolling over. So it can be extremely difficult. Decide to plant a couple rocks once again on the sides just to give you a little bit of a buffer before you roll your vehicle. So 3 days on this section right here to work all this stuff out. And then once again, planted a couple more rocks on the backside over here. Nothing much going on back here by Prometheus. We rebuilt Prometheus and scooped up some dirt around that guy just to try to build that up. The little head on the top there was showing quite a bit of neck on it. It looked like it had a turtleneck, and decided to kind of drag all this stuff up. So my brother drug all this stuff up here with a rake, but ultimately we need to take some rock and build it around the back edge of this thing and just totally rock off the whole thing just to keep that stuff retained. And there's some more of that root mass crap that we have to deal with and shake the dirt out of in order to reclaim the dirt. So really not much new going on here. Just kind of built it up a little bit in between, basically like we have in the past. Adding some little dirt mounds along the way as you're going back up towards the pine trees here, the evergreens, as you cut through. So nothing really new here, just reshaping it and reestablishing that area. Making our way back around to the rock pile, which is becoming few and far between. Nice big chunk of quartz right here, just begging to be climbed on. Has some big grooves on the back edge. Should be great traction on this thing. Awesome traction rock. Need to plant that in the ground somewhere. Need to plant this other guy in the ground somewhere. A lot of these guys are high traction rocks. Our little rooftop rock over there. Can't wait to plant that thing somewhere. Don't know where I'm going to put it at as of yet. But it has a beautiful angle on it. And it is completely smooth. I mean, it's got these little rough edges on it, but I mean, it is smooth. No traction and super dense. So I need to get that guy planted somewhere at some point in time. All right, coming back across to our larger storm damage section, and on the other side of our evergreens there. Talking about erosion, the back edge of this hill seriously eroded. I'm going to have to dig that back a little bit further and add a rock wall along there just to keep that stuff retained. Our storm damage area coming through here, seriously eroded. Sticks are rotting away. Getting pretty fragile. This used to be built up quite a bit higher with dirt, and the rain has just washed all that stuff away. So this whole area needs to get rebuilt. You can see how that rain has just chiseled its way through all that dirt all the way along. And the logs are just kind of sitting up on little dirt buttes all throughout here. So either this needs to be filled and built up again, or just completely rebuilt. This area, once again, all rock solid, not going anywhere. Log crossing is good. Rock crossing is good, so we're all good on that area. And all this stuff is plenty stable to walk on and plenty stable to drive on. Once again, I either sink the rocks into the ground or literally hammer them into the ground with another rock so they aren't going anywhere. Backside of our sand hill, this other sand hill over here needs to be trimmed out with some rocks. My brother came through and laid in some cobblestone around this corner just to kind of border that off. We still need to make some more obstacles in here. And we need to finish that off and wrap that rock up around the tree and down the face of that hill, as well as connecting it up here, wrapping it around the corner and down the other side of the hill. So all that stuff is sort of midway through construction. Cruising along. He pretty much dead-ended right here. And all this stuff is looking pretty bare and needs to be worked on. All this crap needs to get worked on. This hill right here, our big sand hill leading on the way back out. Coming off of this trail right here. This needs to get rebuilt. There's a good 8 to 10 inches of sand down here at the bottom of this valley where that sand has ran off the face of the hill and washed out down in the valley. We need to rake all that crap back up, take it back up the hill, as well as planting rocks in the surface of that hill to make that more challenging, and then adding another set of obstacles on the way back out to the exit. And there we go. I think we walked around the entire course. Brick bridge is solid. Teeter-totter once again is solid. Bypass is solid. Everything over there is solid. Need to add a little retention wall right around there once again. And then add some obstacles in between, but otherwise pretty good on that. And that's a good overview on the course as of yet, or so far. Alright, so once again, I think the next video that we do out here is probably going to be with the Ascender Bronco that I recently pimped out. And we'll take that guy out here, running around the course and see how it does. So that'll be our next run video out here. And as far as the giveaway goes, our 5,000 subscriber giveaway. Boys and girls, let me know what you think on that thing, what you want me to do with that giveaway. Personally speaking, I'd like to take the truck for myself. Just because, once again, the views on our 5K pre-giveaway discussion video are just in the toilet. It's an 1 hour and 3 minute long video, and the average view duration is 9 minutes. I mean, that is extremely disrespectful, once again, especially for someone who's trying to give away, you know, a free RC car to somebody. And it's, you know, $500 and some odd RC car. I don't personally own this car, this type of car. I'd love to own it or own one, but I don't own one. I'd love to do an unboxing video on it. I'd love to do a test run out here with the vehicle. But still, I'd love to keep the vehicle as well. But I said I would do the giveaway with the vehicle, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through with the giveaway, and we'll get that thing done. But at the same time, let me know in the comment area what you guys and gals think. Should I do just a straight giveaway with that vehicle, or would you like me to do an unboxing video on that truck, as well as a run video out here on the adventure course before we do the giveaway? So give me a little heads up on that, what you guys and gals think. Leave it in the comment area. Should I do an unboxing video and a run video with that giveaway vehicle first, or just do the giveaway? Let me know what you think on that. Otherwise, once again, to the bulk of my subscribers, you're lucky that I'm doing a giveaway, period. And to the loyal 15%, you know, this giveaway, once again, is for you guys. As far as the giveaway rules and stipulations, you know, once again, go back to that pre-giveaway video and watch the whole darn thing, for Pete's sakes. 9 minutes, man, that's a slap in the face. 9-minute watch time. Total slap in the face on that one. That is for darn sure. Especially for someone who's trying to give away a $500 and some odd RC car to one lucky winner. It's just downright maddening and extremely disrespectful that you guys and gals out there aren't watching the entire video. I tell you what. The only reason, once again, that I'm going to go through with the giveaway is just because I said that I would. And this, once again, is going to be the very last giveaway that we ever do on the channel. Period. Period. That's it. Last one. And it's just because everybody out there is a POS. The bulk of my subscribers suck. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you guys and gals out there. I'm pretty upset with YouTube and pretty jaded by my whole YouTube experience thus far, all these years. I'm definitely not making any kind of money on it. That is for darn sure. And all the giveaways that I've done so far have come directly out of my pocket. And all the disrespectful people, all the giveaway hunter people, man, you guys can suck it. I tell you what, you guys can suck it, man. Just feel free to unsubscribe my channel at any time. Really, you're lucky I'm still doing videos at this point in time. And you're lucky I'm doing a giveaway at this point in time. Because I would love to keep that vehicle for myself. That is for darn sure. And I hate to end it on a note like that, boys and girls, but man, you know, what else can you say? I'm trying. I'm doing my part. I'm definitely trying. But the channel subscribers that I was hoping would be supporting the channel in hopes of more giveaways aren't doing their job. And that's extremely disappointing and extremely disrespectful. So, you know, it is what it is. Once again, the only reason I'm going to do it is because I said that I would do it. Otherwise, I would be keeping that vehicle for myself. And that's no lie. That is the truth, straight up. All right, boys and girls, once again, let me know what you want me to do. Unboxing video, run video, then do the giveaway, or just do the straight up giveaway and call it good. And that's going to do it on this video. Once again, very much appreciated to my loyal subscribers for checking everything out and watching everything to its entirety. To you other 75 or 80% of people out there, man, you guys can go to hell. I don't care, man. That's me speaking my mind. And that's going to do it on this video. Very much appreciated, and we will see you all on the next one. Thanks again.